President Bola Tinubu has forwarded a list of 3 individuals nominated for non-career ambassadorial positions to the Senate for confirmation. Senate President Godswill Akpabio made the announcement during Wednesday's plenary session. The nominees include Kayode Are from Ogun State, Aminu Dalhatu from Jigawa, and Ayodele Oke.
Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, Senate President, National Assembly Complex, Distinguished Senate President, request for confirmation of appointees or request for confirmation of appointments of non-career ambassadors designate. In accordance with the provisions of Section 171, subsection 1 and 2, C and 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the underlisted 3 nominees first. 3 nominees are non-career ambassadors designate. 1. Kayode Are from Ogun State. 2. Aminu Dalhatu from Jigawa State. Comments of the nominees. Please accept the present. This is of my highest. Yours sincerely, Tinubu, President Commander of the Armed Forces, the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Now, we sincerely apologize for that mix-up. Now, let's take a quick look at the 3 ambassadorial nominees President Tinubu has sent to the Senate, starting with Ambassador Ayodele Oke. Ambassador Oke is a non-career nominee and a former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency. He built his career in intelligence, foreign relations, and national security. If confirmed, he will be posted to one of the major Western missions, the US, UK, or France. His long experience in strategic operations makes him a familiar name in Nigeria's security and diplomatic circles. Next is Lateef Kayode, a retired Army colonel and former Director General of the State Security Service, born in 1955. He holds a first-class degree in psychology from the University of Ibadan and a master's in international law and diplomacy from UNILAG. Commissioned in 1974, he went on to become the longest-serving DG of the SSS and later acted as National Security Advisor in 2010. His posting, like others, will be finalized after Senate confirmation. He is bringing decades of intelligence and national security work, having served multiple presidents. The 3rd nominee is Ambassador Aminu Dalhatu from Jigawa State. He is the only career diplomat on the list. Dalhatu previously served as Nigeria's ambassador to South Korea between 2017 and 2023, where he worked on trade promotion, investment ties, and consular affairs. He is well regarded within the Foreign Service and is expected to take one of the high-level Western postings once the Senate completes its screening. Now, joining us via Zoom is a retired diplomat Haruna Warkani to discuss more on the ambassadorial appointments. Glad to have you, Ambassador.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, what
good evening,
does the prolonged delay in submitting ambassadorial nominees suggest about Nigeria's current foreign policy priorities and direction? Why do you think the president, it took the president this long to actually appoint these, to send these nominees to the Senate?
Well, officially, we are told Nigeria lacks the resources to maintain embassies as is usual. And so, since coming to power of this administration, we have seen what has happened. First, the wholesome withdrawal of all ambassadors back home without concurrent replacements, and therefore leaving the embassies rather empty or without the appropriate endowments of leadership in the positions of ambassadors. Second, government has justified that there is no money to maintain the embassies. It is true that it's very, very expensive to run the embassies, maintain buildings, maintain other structures, and particularly services, which is quite a heavy burden on the purse of the nation. However, the real technical position here would have been that government did not prioritize its relationships with other countries, contrary to expectations of nations. By tradition, no nation stands alone, and therefore, a nation requires ambassadors no matter what is happening. It is very difficult for citizens and the international community to believe that Nigeria did not have resources to support an ambassadorial positioning in their various countries. We have put Nigeria in a very tight situation by not having ambassadors across the world.
All right, now,
first is a reputational risk.
Ambassador, now the nomination is said to be a non-career ambassadors, and now one would like to know what are the difference between a career ambassador and non-career ambassador.
Well, very simple and clear. Career ambassadors are the ones that have been trained through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs due to its foreign trainings in various places around the world. And so this group of people are expected to know the rudiments of ambassadorial actions, inactions, activities, obligations, and privileges accruing to a nation through this office. The other side is non-career, could be politicians whom Mr. President wished to please by appointing them because of one support or the other. So you have a combination of some of these career and non-career. Therefore, nations do that. It's not like it's an offense or is an aberration.
All right. All right. Now, how has the long absence of substantive ambassadors likely impacted Nigeria's bilateral relations and overall international engagement?
Well, like I said earlier, Nigeria has lost a lot of reputational pride that we should have earned over the 2 years now of this administration, because no nation stands alone. Every nation requires bilateral or trilateral or multilateral understandings and what have you, which requires the signature sometimes of these ambassadors, because it is the ambassador that represents the president, which means Nigeria has been running 24 months or so on, let me say, autopilot. We don't have corresponding ambassadors or high commissioners in some of these countries. And therefore, for you to even enter into or amend some law, treaties, protocols that will help your citizens, we lost that opportunity. So reputationally, we have suffered, which is very unnecessary too, because truly, it is very difficult for the government to justify that we didn't have the resources to support these our embassies. And I believe it's a matter of priority. If the priority was right, we should have gotten the money anyhow.
All right, now let's go back and look at the expertise. Now, what key qualities and considerations should the Senate prioritize during the screening of these nominees to help strengthen Nigeria's diplomatic corps?
Well, Nigeria is like a wonderful basket that you could close your eyes, dip your hand in the water, and bring out the number of fishes you wish to have in a catch. There are plenty of qualified, verified, and competent persons that Nigeria can pick from to serve in any country of the world. We don't lack that resource at all, human capital for that matter. So Senate needs to just go through, like the 3 names you have read out and their brief biodata. They all qualify perfectly well to serve in any of the leading nations of the world. And we have no doubt the Senate screening might just be an exercise, actually, because none of them is of very little weight politically and diplomatically. At least they are already known in diplomatic circles. So we do not have much problem with that. Yes, some of them might have, due to their career positioning, might have difficulty of accreditation or in some of these countries, because don't forget, when you screen and you send names of these ambassadors to the receiving countries, they also have a right to screen and see whether they can accept these names or not, because it's not an automatic thing. Does not mean when your country nominates you, you become an ambassador outright. No, it's also subject to, which is a bilateral understanding, because the career path or personal contributions or engagements of the officer might have injured that nation before, and it is on record. Therefore, countries go back and check, has this person ever offended this country such that he cannot be granted persona acceptance? So those are the only challenges we have, but otherwise, I think the names are very, very qualified.
All right, thank you so much, Ambassador Haruna Warkani, for being part of this discussion.